Hey guys, my name's Asher and I'm in charge of this project and what we're going to do. So I'm going to talk about what we've done so far in this project up to this day. So what we did was that we created the character, we decided on his look, we made a interface, the starting menu, we've done the animations, the gun mechanics, and I was in charge of the character design, the character movement in this game. So first of all, what I did was I've downloaded Adobe Fuse, and since we're students and don't have much money, so what we did was that I got the free version of Adobe Fuse, and what I did was I started off designing the head and the skin color. So I decided what type of hairstyle he wants, what facial features suits him, what kind of clothes would be suitable for the game, and then how tall and just general body features. For this game, it's all about killing zombies, so I went with more of an evil look for our main character, give him a more hitman type of look, but also kept it very serious looking. So after creating the character, what I did was I uploaded the character's model into Mixamo. And what Mixamo is, it's like a Adobe website online where you can upload your creations of your models, create the skeleton for it, and then attach the animations to it. So what I did after creating the character model was upload it onto Mixamo, and then I made the skeleton, and then I searched up locomotion packs animations for the character movement. So in this character movement pack, it contained walking, strafing, and just general directions, just like general animations for the main character. So after I found them, I synced it with the skeleton, and then I've downloaded it into a Unity FBX file, and I've downloaded it in 60 frames per second. And after that, I've uploaded them onto Unity and onto Unity's animators, and yeah, and then you can sync it together and program it in a way where which button triggers which movement. I've also added the fact that you can use a PlayStation 4 controller for this game because it's more suitable for the gameplay we're going for. So what I've did with the character movement is if you press W, he goes forward, S back, A left, D right. And this is what the character looks like. See how he's got like more of an evil look, just to fit the more killing vibe of the game.
My name is Francis Viflo. My main responsibility was to have the camera movement. The camera was focused on the character. I made it where the camera is focused on the camera's spine. So I made it so the camera is scripted to always follow where the character is moving. So where the character is both idle and where he's moving. On top of that, the camera is also a child object of the character. Secondly, when the user is wanting the character to move left and right, turn left and right, not strafing, but turning, the character's spine is relative to where the user chooses to rotate the camera horizontally wise. So if the camera is moved left while he's moving, the character will also go left while he's, and same goes for turning right. Thirdly, I made where the camera movement is movement is made for the user to aim around at a full 360 roam. So every angle the user desires to look at where the camera is, that basically, yeah, so the camera angle is wherever the user wants to look at. On top of that, I also made it where the camera is, there's also object colliders on Unity. Unity has the object colliders where where the character, if he tries to go past his objects, they won't go on top of that. Those were completed by the other group members, but the camera movement I had to implement where the camera also does not go past that obstructed object. And this will be shown in an example video of our. Alright guys, this is Francis, just continuing on the just an example of the camera movement. So character is moving strafe. As the character moves strafe, the camera is not turning. When the character is moving, the character turns as the user wants to turn the camera to it, horizontally wise. On top of that, we have the we have the camera following the character. If the character is against the wall, you know, any obstruction, the camera is like, it's not made to go past the wall. It's pinned onto where the camera is. Oh, sorry, where the character is.
Hi there, I'm Gomez. We're working on the game called Shan going ham. For this project. I was in charge for the weapons. To be exact, I was in charge for the guns for the character. I started for this. I found some free assets in Unity, and there's quite a bit, and I chose one of it. And what I did was just I just tweaked it a little bit, and also made the gun look more unrealistic. I made the muzzle flash make more, like real life and stuff. And for now in the game, to be exact, what I've finished is making the character hold the gun, make it equipped and unequipped, and and I program some location where the gun is to be placed, where it's going to be unequipped and where it's going to be equipped, which is on the right hand. And yeah, that's basically what I've done.
Hi, I'm Zhao and Shan. I'm working for the animation Bundam chart game menu unit test for our project. Since our project is 3D game, the animation is significant. In terms of the animation controls, we have to talk about the animator. There are some parameter in the parameter. No, there's some parameters in the animator, and then some transition is in between the animation by changing the volume of the parameter, and then we can make sure to fit the condition or in between of the transition, so that we can change the animation of the character. By the way, changing the parameter of the animator is using the C# script. So next part is the game menu. That one is pretty easy. I finished in 5 minutes. Actually it's in 10 minutes. And I just put the camera meter inside of the things, and and also the camera with the character. And then there's some text in here we called unit text, UI text. And there are 2 buttons in here. And actually there are 2 buttons. One is the start game. Second one is the save the game, and the 2 of the buttons still doesn't work yet because we haven't finished yet. So in terms of the unit text, that part is pretty hard because we haven't got any experience about it, and we find out there's actually some videos tutorial on YouTube, and we just follow one, and we find out unit text is check the unit part. Actually it's pretty small part of the game, and we use it to check the user input, so that we can check the user input that can change the animation of the character. If the user haven't input the correct button, and they will pops out there's a fail.
Yep. So the user stories got developed through the in development and testing. So basically these done cards went from being developed, testing, and being back to develop again and testing back again. So before each of these cards got to the done column, all of the members in the group decided that it has to be actually done based on our definition of done, and yep, that's basically how it worked.
Alright, it's Zhao Shan. I continue with the Bundam charts. As you can see, we got a user story here with the marks, and there's the Bundam chart we got, as you can see, and the spring 0, which is just a straight line keep going down, and the spring 1 we got here, this parallel line to here, which means we haven't designed our user stories pretty well. We don't know what's going on, so we spend a lot of time on it. Let's go.
So the problems that we are facing currently at the moment is the reloading of the gun. So what's happening is that you need a separate game object for the clip, and we cannot find any animations. Maybe I can go on Maya and then find an animation that we can create ourselves, but we don't know how to do it yet. But we'll see what happens in the future. And another problem is jumping. When we try to trigger the jump animation, what happens is the character pauses and then he jumps and then he lands again, and it cancels every other animation that was happening before, which gives it an unrealistic effect. So that's another problem. And the final problem was aiming. So when we hold down the right mouse button, he aims, but only if you click it. But once you hold the aiming button down, it keeps repeating the animation. So we need to program it in a way where that doesn't happen. And those are the problems that we faced until now.
Yeah, hi there. For the last part of our project before the last presentation, what I'm working on is the game sounds and also the game animation. And lastly, I'm also working for the different like gun or weapon that the character can choose from as well. And yeah, that's basically it.
And the next thing I'm going to work on is the terrain, the map of the game. Just designing it with shaders and whatnot. See what free assets I can find on Unity.
So in the for 2 weeks, we're gonna do the AI, which means artificial intelligence. Actually, I would say this for the AI enemy, it would got like three actions. First of all is the picturing in a certain waypoint for trying to find around the character. Second is the chasing. Since if the enemy find out the character, it will chase after him. And like the thirdly last of all, and like after chasing, after the enemy finds out the character, it will start to attack to the character.
On top of that, we'll also be adding the user interface. Basically, the user interface will have a few buttons, mainly to start the game, and basically we're just still trying to see what's in progress right now.